Hello out there in radio land. Hello out there in video land. We're back. Here it is. A beautiful Tuesday in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Oh, excuse me. Started out a little bit shaky this morning, 32 degrees, frost on the front lawn, but you know what? It's turned into a nice day, 50 degrees out here today. 50 degrees right now. Couldn't even get higher. It's clear blue sky, not a cloud in sight, not even any chemtrails today so far. That's looking good. That's good. I like that. That's a nice day right there. Of course, my name is Paul Kalemir. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Yeah, that's where we are. Same place, same time, every day. Noon, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for Your City, Your Voice. And on Wednesday, we pick up with Habsolutely, which is all Habs, all show. We talk about the great things the Habs have been doing lately as they try to make it to the playoffs. And they're giving it their best shot, this young team. See what happens. Let's hope they make it. I'd like to see them make it. I don't think they're going to go far, in my opinion. You know, if they make a rounder, that'll be amazing. But the good thing is that the younger people on the team, the younger players on the team, are going to get a little bit of experience in the NHL. Do any of my listeners out there care? Of course not. They're all Leaf and Bruins fans. But for the Habs fans, that's what's happening. And we appreciate you tuning in regardless of your persuasion when it comes to NHL hockey. Okay, before we get into the show, we got lots to talk about, some Facebook funnies, viewer comments, just a lot going on in the world right now. And you know, we've had elections well, we didn't have elections. A guy who never got elected to anything is sitting in a chair right now, which is crazy, but that's how it works. And we have the South, what's going on in the South and the war. I mean, there's so much going on in the world, you can't keep up to it. And you know what? That's usually what happens with your car. One thing goes, another thing goes. You can't keep up to it. So what do? You take all the worry off your shoulders. You take it to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And you know what? You go to Wild Bill's, they're going to take care of it. You won't have to worry about anything. They're going to run your car through the diagnostic equipment. They're going to check all your systems in their free spring checkup. I mean, they're going to go through everything, let you know what should be done, let you know what needs to be done, fix any problems. And at the end of the day, you're going to be proactive. Your car's going to be running good. You're going to be running good. Everything's going to be running good. You're not going to break down. You're going to be so happy you won't be able to stand it. Right? And that's the way you want it. That's the way you want it. Let's face it. Now, if you get in a wreck or a fender bender, whatever, major, minor, take it to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. They have a full body shop. Take your car in. They bring it out in showroom condition. Excellent, excellent, excellent work. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. You can go to wildbillsauto.ca. See what they do over there, make appointments, that kind of thing. But no matter what, give Ken a call. Make sure you get your car checked up before summer hits. Get those winter tires off. You're going to burn them out on this pavement. Come on, let's go. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Ken Hunter, proprietor. Give him a call today. Support our sponsors because they support the show. They support the city. They're just all around good people. And while you're there on the internet, look it up, wildbillsauto.ca. What you want to do is hit the subscribe button. That's right. If you're watching the show, you're not subscribed, subscribe. It costs nothing. And what it does is it helps the algorithm. It helps people find the show. And at the end of the day, it also gives you notifications. So you know when I post a show, and it usually pops up around 3 o'clock every day. So come on, get with it. Let's go. Let's get this city rocking and rolling here with Your City, Your Voice, and make some waves for the next election that's coming up, whether it's federal, provincial, or municipal. And that comes up in 2026. Okie dokie. Look at these nice little keychains. Look at these. Look at this. I'm going to show you something. Look at that nice little keychain. Look at that little thing there. A little beer opener, can opener. There you go. Your city, your voice. How do you like that? Pretty cool, huh? Just stop by the studio and say hello. I might give you one. Okay, so let's get to Facebook funnies. But remember, I have two more sponsors, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue and Hamill Machine Company. We'll get to them later. So before we get into anything else, let's take a look at Facebook funnies. I'm on Facebook all the time. I live there. Let's face it, I'm a Facebook guy. And what I do is I watch for crazy comments and talk about and discuss stuff. I post crazy stuff myself, of course, and I get a lot of interest in a lot of them. But there's always something going on Facebook. So nothing in particular this week, though. But I have a lot of discussions with TDS and now MDS mental cases. And, the mental community is starting to see that TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a real mental case. It's a real mental issue. They're going to declare it a mental problem. And that's how bad it is. And the MDS is going to be next. Musk derangement syndrome, the darling of all the people who wanted to cut out gas guzzling cars and climate change and global warming and hundreds of millions of billions of trillions of dollars Canada's wasted on this climate change hoax. And Trump was their darling. He made electric cars, the first one that was viable in the market, to be honest with you. Oh, yeah, there were some electric cars out there before Tesla, but Tesla was the biggie, the granddaddy of them all. When he brought them out, he was the hero, Musk. But all of a sudden now, because he's working with Trump and he's running Doge, the system where they actually are finding government efficiencies, or should I say inefficiencies, and getting rid of them, getting rid of the inefficiencies. Well, now they don't like them anymore. They got the MDS. They don't like them. So they get on Facebook, of course. They're crying all the time about him. I mean, they're way out there, these people, right? And I had a couple of discussions with these people. They take some. These guys are mental. They're mental cases. That's all I can tell you. They take sound bites from a Trump address, a speech or something, and they take like a 30-second sound bite of something he said. Last time I saw on the internet was that he said that when firefighters go to fires in some of these sanctuary cities, they get shot at, which is true. I mean, I've read this a million times. But they take that and and then they start, disparaging. This is what they do. They disparage Trump no matter what he does. This guy could find a cure for cancer, and they'd still say he didn't find a cure for Alzheimer's. I mean, they're never going to give him credit for anything. So my advice with these way out mentally ill people is to walk away. You're never going to win an argument with them. You're never going to win a discussion because they don't work on facts. They work on emotion. They just hate Orange Man bad. And that's it. If you ask them why, they don't know. We'll talk about it later on, but just walk away. They're dangerous. Stay away. Stay away. They're very, very unstable people. The viewer comments. I love my viewers. I love my viewer comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. So glad you're here with me every day. From the Thursday show with Chris Regas, Michelle Basile 9525. Thanks for the valuable information. Well, you're welcome, Michelle. You're welcome. That's what we're here for, is to make people aware, give people information. Chris Regas is right on the money with most of the stuff he says. So, yep, we did provide valuable information, and we appreciate you tuning in. And we look forward to you tuning in some more. That's a new viewer because I never saw that name before. 881 Slick, a regular commenter. Wonderful show, gents. Well, thank you very much, 881 Slick. Thank you very much. We do our best here at Your City, Your Voice. At Penny Brookify, 2023? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yes, I'm lost in time, Penny Brookify. I'm lost in time. And instead of putting the date of the show in 2025, I put it as 2023. It's been corrected. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you so much for the heads up. What the heck's going on out here? Wild out there in the streets now. From the Friday show, it's no comments. So I guess everybody one agrees with me. They agreed with everything I said, so they didn't comment. There you go. There still might be comments because people do go back and they archive. Of course, you can go on YouTube and watch every show I've done since last July. Actually, I don't know, over 100 shows, well over 100 shows now. You can go back and check them all out. And some people go back and listen to a show and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," and then they comment on it later. So I get the notices, so it's all right. I can get them in there. From yesterday's show, now yesterday's show was with Dave Wheeler, and we went through city council, the city council agenda, giving our opinions on what's going to happen, things that are going on, and trying to keep you informed. And I had a couple of comments on that. Glad you made it in, Wheels, at 881 Slick. Glad you made it in, Wheels. Always love your opinion. MLNR, much love and respect to you both. Thank you very much, Gary. And the feeling is mutual. We love our viewers. We love Gary's out there. We love Gary's out there. And he's part of the Doge agents we got on the streets. If you go to Doge Niagara on Facebook, you're going to see videos. You're going to see everything that's going on in the city, comments on the city. If there's anything going on where we can find government efficiencies, that's where you're going to find it. Doge Niagara on Facebook. Sign up. Sign up. Keep informed. And if you're seeing something out there on the streets, city workers gathering around a hole for hours and hours, not doing anything, just take a video and throw it on Doge Niagara. We'll get at it. Everybody's watching. We're trying to find efficiencies within the government of Niagara Falls, and sometimes there's trucks driving around doing nothing all day, and we want to know about it. At Penny Brookify, there is an annual water property tax rebate, $182 from the city for low-income seniors. They have to be receiving the GIS they're low-income qualifiers. A couple of years ago, they expanded the program to include people on ODSP. Deferral would be what it sounds like. Pay later. Thank you so much for this information. So what happened yesterday on the show was that we got to item 9.3, something like that, 9.9, 9.3. It was in there, maybe 9.9. But what it was about seniors, and I kind of rushed over it when I was doing the agenda because I thought it had to do with the $500 rebate tax, the tax you can get taxes off your property taxes every year if you're a senior with low income getting GIS. But then Dave Wheels, when he was in here, he said, well, no, that was something else about $500 a year or something that you can defer from your property taxes. And so I did what I said I was going to do. I went in and looked at it again this morning. I had to find out what the deal was. And the deal is that if you're a senior on GIS or ODSP, somebody with ODSP, on ODSP, the disabilities benefit, that the city has a scheme where you can defer $500 of your property taxes. So if you have, say, $3,000, let's say that's your property tax, just use the numbers here, you can only pay $2,500 and defer $500. And you can do that for 10 years. So at the end of the 10 years, of course, it's $5,000, the total, and that's all you can do it for is 10 years. And that money is there without interest, at which time it becomes a registered lien against the property. So when the property is disposed of, it's given to your kids, or sold. Any way it's disposed of, then that money is owed to the city. So that's what they're saying. Instead of paying like $3,000, if that's your bill, you can defer $500 of it. Only pay $2,500, and the $500 goes into a deferral account for you. and it can add up to 5,000, and then at some point it's got to be paid off when you dispose of the property. Now that's over 10 years, 500 a year, 5,000 total, no interest on that money, and then you don't have to pay it if that helps you out. They figure it's going to help some seniors who maybe just don't have the money to pay their taxes, their property taxes. But of course, there's always an of course. There's always an of course when it comes to any kind of thing like this, especially with government. Is you have to do this, um, and then the city is going to have to be able for you to do this. Spend hundreds of thousands of bucks on software and monthly plans to be able to do this because their systems won't do this now. And not to mention, if a lot of people are taking advantage of it, more staff is going to have to be hired, and that's something the Penguin loves to do. And this is going to turn into millions of dollars. You just know it, right? You just know it. Administration, all that. This is going to be another deferred account they can use for whatever. So don't be a stunad. Come on, don't be a stunad. I don't think we should do this. The more I read about it, the more I can see weird things going on. It's going to cost taxpayers more money, and then then of course they're in our pockets for more, right? Because that's the way it works. It's the way it always works. So I think that the administration of it, getting new systems, getting new things, are going to hire more people to manage it. Who knows? And any excuse to hire people. They've hired 57 people in the last 2 years, right? Our taxes keep going up, and they keep finding ways to monkey around with stuff. These crazy schemes they come up with. And my thing is, no, say no to it. Forget about this scheme. Turn it down, and let's work out another way to do it. There's got to be a better way to do this. I mean, my favorite way would just be to give everybody a 4% discount every year. There you go. Every year, instead of raising our taxes, lower them by 4%. That's what I'd like to see. But they're going to try to work this through city council. So if you're watching city council this morning, just make sure that you watch this part of it with the senior stuff and see what they have to say about this. I hope there's some questions because this sounds like one of those schemes. We see enough schemes out of the city council. We don't need any more. See what they say. Pay attention. That's it anyway. I told you I was going to look into it, and I did. I've kept my promise to you, so that's what I was interested in, keeping my promise to the listeners. Oh, so what do we have? We have a new, and I consider very dangerous person running the country. Yeah, a person that was not elected but appointed. Where have we heard that before? How'd that work out? Not really good usually. Person has never won an election, doesn't have a riding, has nothing but global elite ties that will extend Trudeau's reign of terror on Canada for as long as Canadians will put up with them. That's basically what it's amounting to. Oh, there's the Russian spy. I haven't seen her in a long time. Yee. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Hope he's not in for long. As soon as he gets in here, March 24th, they've got to open Parliament again. They got to call it back. And then I hope Jimmy Dollywall, the Marxist Maserati driving Raha of Rolex, decides he's not going to support the country or this new leader and call an election. Let's go. Let's go. Did you ever see that guy without his lid on? Jimmy Dollywall? His hair, you think my hair is long? His hair is like down to here. I don't even know how he fits it in that wrap. He knows how to do it, though. He puts it up and a little onion up here, a little onion thing up here. Then he wraps it with all this white crap, and then he wraps the white with different colored turbine. And I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I mean, it's an art. It's an art form, but his hair is friggin'. You look at him, he looks like somebody out of one of the bands, one of the rock bands. Yeah, take your choice. Take your choice in the old days. Yeah, I'm looking at it going, who is this guy? He looks familiar, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, he started rapping. And I don't mean rapping, boom, 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 boom. I mean rapping up. I don't know how the hell he does it. It's gotta be hot. Gotta be hot. Anyway, I think that they should have an election right away. His first move was to insult President Trump. Another day, another buffoon in Canada, controlling Canada, said he's not going to talk to President Trump until Trump shows some respect for Canada. Oh, how many times do we hear this crap? Does he really think Trump cares what some two-bit unelected globalist from a third world country thinks? I mean, seriously, come on. Don't care what he says. Oh, man. But in me, I think Trump gave Canada the ultimate respect. As a friend, as the number one trade partner, he asked Canada to join him on their mission to not only make America great, but to make North America great again. He asked to join. Hey, come on, Canada, you're our friend. Come on in with us. We're gonna go in business together here. We're gonna make the biggest economy ever. Huge landmass. We're gonna have the biggest army. We're gonna have the biggest everything that we have now. But you're gonna be in with us, right? You're gonna be included instead of sitting on the outside looking in. He excluded Mexico because they don't share the same ideals as Canada, nor the same standard of living. Canada was the only country in the world that was asked to become part of this great economy and the greatest country ever. The country every other country aspires to become or wants a piece of. I mean, how much more respect do Canadians want? You're invited into the biggest thing ever. I think that's a lot of respect to Canada and what he thinks of Canada. Of course, the no vision Canadians that are standing behind their phony patriotism, they're Canada first. We're all in this together. The ones that were arresting the truckers when they wanted to take back Canada from the bogus COVID hoax. The ones that wanted to take your jobs. The ones that froze your bank accounts. The ones that arrested innocent, peaceful protesters. And the ones that trampled your elders with horses. Yeah, they're the ones that banned the unvaccinated from restaurants. The ones that banned them from travel and crossing the border. The ones that took away your jobs and devastated small business. The ones who persecuted those that refused to go along to get along. Yeah, we weren't even close to being all in this together. Those low vision people are now deciding that being part of the U.S. is a bad thing. Every decision they've made has been bad about everything. And they're going to say it's a bad decision to go along with the U.S. or get involved with that. I mean, who would trust them to do what's right? Think about it. Who's going to trust them to do what's right for Canadians? I wouldn't trust them to babysit my dog. Yeah, and we see which way they go under pressure. Yeah, so now the right thing to do would be to stop the nonsense, sit down with the U.S. and see exactly how we would benefit from it. Every Canadian would benefit. But it appears Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, Carney has no interest in talking with Trump on anything because he doesn't feel that Trump respects Canada. So there you go. I mean, he said, no, sovereignty. Sovereignty. We haven't had sovereignty since Trudeau version 1 was in power and gave it all away. Since he started moving us towards a globalist socialist state. So, I mean, if we want to get down to serious business, we got to talk to Trump. And we got to sit down there and make the best deal for everybody, including Canada. Now, this new leader, and I use the term loosely because he's not elected, or has he ever been elected to any political position ever in Canada, sat down in a sordid display of hubris, signing a piece of paper saying the carbon tax is gone. Now, here's a guy who don't want nothing to do with Trump because he's a bully and everything, all this other stuff you hear Canadians say. So what does he do? He sits down. It's like he's signing an executive order, which he can't do, by the way. He can't do. He's mimicking Trump with his executive orders. Sorry. But he can't do it because Canada is not a constitutional republic. It's a parliamentary system. Maybe he wants it to be a constitutional republic. That'd be nice. Then he could sign executive orders, but until then, it was a useless display made for TV. Of course, it was made to impress the easily fooled Canadians. It appeared to work. People are talking about it. The guy starts prime ministership with a lie. How nice. This guy's going to be a disaster. We got to get him out of there. Come on. Let's have an election right away. Get him out of there and get on with life in Canada. And let's talk about my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. That's right. You want a great pizza? Guess what I had this morning? Well, you don't even, I know. You don't even have to guess anymore. You know, I say it every day almost. Couple hunks of Pete's Pizza. Yes, sirree. I get it, I freeze it, and I take it out when I need something good for breakfast. But if you want a good pizza, you got to call Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. These guys know how to make a pizza. The Mancini family, 40-year-old Mancini family, they've been using in the region for 40 years for the sauce and for the crust. They put it on the pizza with brick and Saputo mozzarella all mixed up in the right ratios. Cook the pizza perfect, fresh ingredients, whatever you want. They got every topping you could imagine, and they cook it up for you. And you know what? They make a heck of a pizza over there. But they're not one trick pony. They have tremendous wings, steak and cheese poutine, regular poutine, steak subs, panzerotti, you name it. They have a full menu, all kinds of stuff, garlic bread. They got everything there. They do everything. You're going to find something you like there. Guaranteed. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. How do you get one? Simple. 905-374-2222 or go to petespizzavictoria.ca and you can order it right on the website. But they do skip, they do dash, they do it all. They do it all for you. Get yourself a nice pizza, and for your convenience, they're open till 2 in the morning, Friday and Saturday. So you come back having a couple of wobbly pops and you feel like having something to eat while you're watching the Fright Night Late Show. Guess what? Pete's Pizza is the place to call. Give them a call today. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Support our sponsors because they support the show. They support the city. They're good local small businesses. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, so Canadian Defense Minister Billy Blair, like, who is he and what's he defending? Say they're looking at canceling the F-35 orders. F-35s, he said. They are F-35s, but I think he was saying F-35s. You know what I mean? And it's gonna cost Canadians a lot of money. And it's gonna cost them a lot of money to cancel it, maybe like $40 million or something like that. Yeah, 40 million, I think they said. I don't think it was 40 billion. I think it was 40 million. And it's just gonna go into oh no, it wasn't that. I don't know what it's gonna cost to cancel that. I don't know what it's gonna cost to cancel that, but I mean, it was like a $13.1 billion order or something like that, $17 billion order. We're going to pay to cancel that. I'll guarantee. I don't know how much it is. Now, what I was talking about was the other doughhead, Ford, canceling Starlink. Elon Musk Starlink. Oh yeah, it was the Darlink, old Starlink, until Ford got a hold of it. Now he's mad. He's going to cancel it. But it's going to cost Ontario for taxpayers $40 million to cancel that one because he's butthurt. So I can't even imagine if $40 million is to cancel a $100 million contract with Starlink. What is a $19 billion contract with the U.S. government or Lockheed or wherever the heck's going to make these F-35s? What's that going to cost to get out of that contract? And you know what? It don't matter, right? These guys don't care. What's it matter to them? You're paying. Hey, by the way, you spent another $100,000 on everybody's taxes this year. I mean, if Canada had any smarts, they really would do is if they cancel it, they'd start building their own. They'd send out words to companies like de Havilland and Bombardier. I mean, we've supported Bombardier till they went broke. Gave them enough money so they could go broke, basically. Now, why aren't they putting a plan together to supply and build these jets? Take the 19 billion, if that's what they have, they're going to save, and start building. We have the technology, we have the skill, we have the people with brains to be able to do it. We have everything we need. I mean, even these old closed down factories could be spooled up again and start running. And imagine the people that we would hire. There'd be tens of thousands of people that would have to be hired to build these things. And they'd all be good union jobs, guaranteed, good paying union jobs. And it would be for a long time because it's going to take a long time to build these jets. And by the time we build them, they're obsolete, and there's a newer one coming out that we could build, upgrading avionics on a regular basis. It never ends with these things, right? I mean, why not? It would put a lot of people to work, and we would be able to supply ourselves and other countries. That's right. We could sell these jets to other countries on the markets. Why not? Why not? What the heck? Um, we were in the industry once until the Diefenbaker canceled the Avro Aero, the biggest mistake ever by a Canadian leader. Well, one of them anyway, probably one of the biggest. We were at the forefront. They canceled it, closed down the factories. All the people went to the United States to work on the space program. So, I mean, let's build this. Let's build our own. Test them, get them running, get them up in the air, get avionics in them that can talk to the American jets. So we take these things to war. They grounded us before because they couldn't tell us from the enemy. We didn't have the proper avionics in them. So let's go and work with the U.S. on this. We'll make our own. And away we go. Let's start our own industry again. And we can do ships too. Why not build ships? We have shipyards. We need Coast Guard frigates or whatever we need. Don't go and buy them. Let's build our own. Put Canadians to work. What's the matter with these people? I mean, we're in a perfect position right now to do it because nobody wants to deal with the U.S. They're canceling contracts and everything. So why not start it up ourselves? Thanks, but no thanks. We're going to start ourselves an industry. Get our industry back. I mean, like either start getting our industry back together here and start doing our own stuff, or you might as well just go back down to Washington and say, Trump, we're in. Let's go. If you're that Canadian, you're that patriotic, and you really want our country to thrive for everybody, then come on, let's go. Let's start building. Instead of wasting money sending it to find out the mating habits of the tsetse fly in southern Sudan or wherever the hell they're from, Nigeria. Let's take the money and put it into Canada and Canadians, right? Let's start building this tunnel Ford's about. Start putting people to work. Sure. Okay, so government shouldn't do this, shouldn't do. You know what? Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to start it. Doesn't mean government has to always have it. Somebody's got to start it. Let's put people to work. Come on. No matter what, they're going to get paid and they're going to be spending taxes. They're going to be paying taxes. They're going to have good jobs. They're going to buy houses. They're going to buy food. They're going to have families. It goes right down the line. Canada was at its most successful when we had lots of industry working. And these are the kind of industries we would love to have because we don't want the iron factories, the iron plants, the steel mills. We don't want them anymore. They're dirty industry. Nobody wants them. We have a few left. But come on, let's get everything going. And down the line, you need tires, you need components, you need everything to do this. There's a whole industry behind the industry, and you're going to get people who are going to invest because they want to be part of it and they can make money. So rather than cancel this contract and do nothing and be mad because big bad orange man, let's cancel it and build our own. What's the matter with people? Come on, let's go. It's never going to happen. You know that, right? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen, but I don't know why not. Why wouldn't it? It only makes sense. Oh, so let's fly over to the Middle East here. Well, Trump's had enough of these terrorists, and he's hammering the Houthi positions in Yemen. No fooling around with these pests anymore. He's laying the hammer down. He's done. He wants peace. These guys are going to keep blasting ships in the Gulf of Aden and the Suez in the Red Sea, closing down the Suez Canal, costing everybody a lot of money for what? For no reason, right? So it's over for these Houthis. And the warning goes out to not only them, to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to everybody, including Iran, that it's over. It's over. You've closed down the Suez Canal for long enough. It's costing people zillions of dollars because ships now have to go around Africa 2 or 3 weeks to a month to do that trip to deliver, where they could just go through the Suez Canal and deliver right to Europe, and then through the Straits of Gibraltar into the Atlantic and go across and deliver to North America. They don't have to make that big trip. So it's over. And they're firing at American ships all the time. Now, Biden wouldn't do anything. He never did anything. So now he's sending over. I mean, I got somebody who's in the UK on Facebook, and he puts a post on there every time like the B-52s leave from the UK, because they fly from the UK and they head straight down to Houthiville in Yemen, and they blow them all up. They drop a whack of bombs, then they fly back to the UK. I mean, it's just a round trip. They refuel in air. So this is what they kind of do, which is fantastic. And so when they leave, it's on Facebook, and I'm going, oh boy, another round. And they probably come in from where the heck else are they? Where are they? In Guam or one of those islands over there? They got another base over there, and they probably fly out of it as well. But he wants to. Trump usually strikes and takes out the leaders of these groups. That's who he's looking for, and I think he already has taken out a couple. So eventually he'll pick them off one by one, and the unrelenting attacks on their positions is going to mean that they're out. And these guys better make no mistake. This isn't just against the Houthis. It's against anybody who would cause trouble or who is causing trouble, because he wants it settled. He wants the war over in the Ukraine. He wants the war over in the Middle East, and he wants these terrorist groups to be decimated, wiped right out if he can. And he's warned Iran, any more shenanigans, and then then we got problems. And he'll sanction the hell out of Iran too. So it's a warning. It's a warning. The Houthis, they're taking it on the Houthis right now, but it's a warning. It's a warning, and I would heed that warning if I was them. Like I said, there's always something going on somewhere in this world. Like every day, it's crazy. I can't keep up to it. There's so many things going on. There's so many moves being made. It's insane. Now, back home here, the tariff wars are still on. They're going to continue, with Trump insisting that on April 2nd, all tariffs are going to go into effect. And that appears to be that. He's not backing down from that. He said even if Canada puts tariffs and everything else on, he's going to put them on. And if they put 25%, he'll put another 25%. Now, amid all these threats, our Prime Minister, Art Carney, is off to Europe. Maybe he's going with Ralph Cramden. I don't know. For you, those of you who are younger, you might not understand that. Ask your parents. Or your grandparents, for that matter. But yeah, Art Carney's off to Europe to discuss who knows what with those losers. And the globalist dreams of Canada is that Canada, who is not for sale, is for sale to the EU. they want to join the EU. So rather than dealing with a company I can see from right here, I can look out this window and see a building in Niagara Falls, New York. The border's right there. I could throw a rock and probably come close to hitting an American with it. I wouldn't do that, but I could. And they don't want to deal with somebody right there. They want to deal with somebody who is 3,000 miles away, 10,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away. But it's crazy. It's crazy. They got $20 million economy in the European Union. The United States is $28 trillion economy. We send 85% of our exports to the U.S. They buy $450 billion worth of stuff, compared to the EU's purchase of 40 billion. Yeah. This is what 50% of Canadians want to do. You join the European Union. Canada appears to be for sale, just not to the lowest bidder. They're going to be rather than the lowest bidder, which is Trump, which just wants to get us in there. They're gonna sell their soul to the European Union. But fear not, Canadians. It's not going to happen. The 49th article of the European Union Treaty for membership says that you have to be in Europe. So unless my map reading has degraded to the point I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, much like Joe Biden, we're a long way away from being part of Europe. And that right there saves us from the dum-dums that you actually think joining the EU is a great idea. And thank goodness for that. We have a physical barrier in the way, and the fact that we're not in Europe, so we can't join. They have to change a lot of stuff for us to join. And that's good, because these clowns would probably do it. We had our best neighbor right here. I can see it from here. And they want to join somewhere 3,000, 4,000 miles away. They're wacky. Oh, and Trump, he's always on the ball here. He's made a list of countries that would be banned from traveling to the U.S. So you don't want people from these countries coming in the U.S. And there's about 43 countries on the list, fitting into 3 tiers: red, orange, and yellow, to denote the severity of the restriction. Red countries they would be entirely forbidden from entering the U.S., including Afghanistan, Bhutan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. They're the red ones. We don't want you here. Now, herein lies the problem. If Canada lets these people in, which they will, they always do, and they start using Canada as a corridor to the United States for illegal entry into the States, then we have a problem. Canada lets them in, and they border jump from Canada. That's why Trump is threatening tariffs. He don't want this kind of stuff to happen. He wants us to tighten up our airports and our seaports. And we know what's happening. And it's gonna continue to happen unless Canadians are forced to tighten up their seaports. And that's what Trump is doing. Imagine having to force us to do something like this. How crazy is that? 10 countries will be limited from entering the country, but not entirely banned. They have to have specific visas and are put on the orange list. Not quite red, not quite yellow. And that would be Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, and South Sudan, Turkmenistan. They're going to have to sit for interviews before they get into the country on a visa. Before they get a visa, and Trump is also moving huge with Tom Homan, Department of what's he? The border czar. Yeah, he's taking care of the border now. He's taken Venezuelan members of the criminal gang Trente Aragua and has deported 250 of them, 250 of Trente Aragua, to El Salvador, where they're transferred to a maximum security prison. And if you saw any videos of this stuff going on, this is serious business. These guys aren't monkeying around with them. They're shaving their heads. They're doing everything. And they don't just get to walk. They get drugged to their cell. Oh, yeah. Their heads down. They're not looking around. No. And they're deported under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, an act that has only been used 3 times in the history of the United States to get rid of these illegals. And it was funny because a U.S. judge, some left-wing lunatic, said that he can't do that. He can't ship them out. He said, well, they're already up in the air. They're headed to El Salvador. And he said, well, turn those planes around. And they said, no, we're not turning anything around. Forget about it. So now this judge is flipping out. Why would he want to keep these criminals, 250 criminals in the United States? How many were there? 250, 260. Why would he want to keep them here, this judge? It has to be a Democrat. But it was too late. The planes had gone. They're there. They've unloaded. These guys got drug off and thrown in jail. and they're there for a year, and then they can renew the contract for these guys to keep them. And I saw a press conference with Levitt, Caroline Levitt, and they're asking her, "Are you sure they're Trinidad Nicaragua and gang members and everything else?" And she's going, "Oh yeah." Those were positive. ICE knows who they are. They had them labeled to be removed, and now they're removed. And the president of El Salvador said, "Hey, thanks for sending our guys back. We want to try a couple of these guys right here for murder and everything else." So yeah, he confirmed that they're bad guys too. Of course, the ambulance chasing lawyers are lining up to defend these illegals, saying that they were removed without being guilty of anything and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Bye bye. They're gone. And that's it. ICE knows who and where they are. Now they have the authority to round them up and get them the hell out of the country. Something Joe Biden would never do. So they're gone. And they're not coming back, no matter what anybody says. That's it. They're done. They're in jail, maximum security. Trump is paying these prisons to keep them. Here's some money. Keep them there. And we'll keep paying you if you keep them there because we don't want them in our prisons. We don't have to pay for them. It costs us more to keep them in our prisons than it does to keep them in your prisons. So you keep them there. So let me get to my third sponsor before we get into the rest of the show here, and that is Hamel Machine Company. And Hamel Machine Company's been around since 1948. A great crew over there. You have anything around your house that needs to be machined, fixed, welded, repaired, or rebuilt, totally rebuilt, reconstructed, 3D printed. They can do anything. And they have been, since 1948, invaluable to every industry in this area because industry doesn't have time to wait. They are on a production. They're running production. They need parts right away. They need them fixed right away. They can't wait 3 or 4 weeks to have them shipped from Europe or somewhere else. So where do they go? They go to these small machine shops and they fix the part or they make a new part. Whatever they need to have done, that's where they go. And they've been serving industry in this area since 1948. Richest products, the wine industry, they innovate, they create, they make systems to make industry more efficient in the Niagara region and around the world for that matter. They ship their parts around the world. Hamel Machine Shop is who you want to turn to if you need anything done. That's where the city goes. That's where the region goes. That's where industry goes. And that's where the homeowners go. Want new back gates for your backyard? Don't know where to go? Go to Hamel. They'll help you design them. They'll build them for you, weld them all up, get them powder coated, do the whole shot for you. That's what they do. That's what they're experts at. Hamel Machine Company. Go to hamelmachine.ca to see what they do. They have a gallery there, a gallery of pictures of work they've done, which will blow your mind. Go see that today. If you have something around the house that's broken, you blow the deck out of your lawnmower, you break something metal, pick up the phone, call them, get it fixed. No fooling around. Hamel Machine Company. Give them a call today. They sponsor the show. They sponsor a lot of things in the city. So I ask you to support our sponsors. Thank you very much. Okay, so what we see happening in the U.S. right now after 6 weeks of Trump, we hope that that's going to happen in Canada. Trump has rattled the cage and the screws are popping out as we watch. For the first time in our lifetimes, we're experiencing the collapse of the system that has literally been controlling humanity since its inception. This insane behavior we are witnessing right now from the left is the byproduct of generations of mind control and manipulation. This emotional instability, and we see it every day. I see it every day. People not using the noodle. They're not using the noodle. They're going by emotion. The hate of one man. I'm surrounded by stunads. Read my shirt, surrounded by stunads. They can't get over it. Orange man bad. But they've been manipulated and controlled. The emotional instability is exactly what you would expect to see when a virus is introduced into a computer program. In this case, the virus is the truth, and the program is the millions of people that fell victim to the propaganda. In a desperate attempt to save themselves, they are now fighting to protect the very system that has been enslaving them all along. It's amazing what you see. It's amazing. It just blows my mind. And, a lot of people who are on the outside looking in say, wow, these people are mental cases. And the people who are mental cases say, we're mental cases. But they're way out there. They're not operating. You cannot have a discussion with them because they operate on hate. You can't discuss something rational when you're dealing with somebody that has hate. Trump and his cabinet are trying to stop this. They're rattling the cage, and we see the screws popping out every day. Protests, firebombing Tesla dealerships. The very people enslaved, they're not fighting for the freedom, but fighting to stay enslaved. This is the real red pill, blue pill. This is the scenario. Musk is saving billions and people hating him for doing that. Why would anybody be mad at Musk for saving taxpayers billions of dollars and getting rid of waste, fraud, and inefficiency? Illegal criminals being deported and people protesting that. They want their illegal alien criminals, murderers to stay. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't, then you know that these people are indoctrinated and they can't let go. They're fighting to protect the very system that has been enslaving them. Like they said, aided and abetted by the deep state globalists that benefit most from their obedience. That's the only way to make sense of their actions. How can you make sense of any of their actions protesting to keep violent criminals in the country? Why would anybody want that? Why would anybody be protesting for the Ukraine and keep the war going? Wouldn't they be protesting against the war and supporting Trump to get peace? You'd think so, but that's not the way it works. You've seen it. I don't have to tell you. You've seen it yourself. And it's just that orange man bad syndrome. Like I said before, we see a lot of people posting stuff about Trump bad. They're always disparaging him. They pick little sound bites up and criticize him for that. Well, in 6 weeks, he's changing the world. We're watching history here. And they concentrate on one little thing he might have said. And when you ask them why they hate Trump, it's always, oh, he's a felon, he's a rapist. They go back to this MSM, this mainstream media rhetoric that they heard, they've been hearing since 2016 when he ran. And they repeat all the nonsense, all these impeachments and indictments, and he's a felon, and he's this and that. Well, you know what? You think he's all that. You're convinced of it. But at the end of the day, 80 million people said he wasn't and voted him as president. But what can I tell you? What can I tell you? You had your agenda. You had Kamala. You had Biden. The agenda was clear. How'd they make out? How'd they make out? How'd they make out? That's not what the people want. So no matter what you say, it's not what the people want. You can make him look like the bad guy, but nobody's believing you. His popularity is at an all-time high. And even places like CNN and that are changing their tune. They realize they were on the wrong track with Kamala and Biden. That isn't going to fly with American people anymore. And it's going to get worse for them. They're at an all-time low in popularity. They might not even ever win another election the way they're going because they don't understand why they lost. They got to quit this hate machine and quit pushing it and try to figure out why they lost and what they have to do to get back in the good spirits of people because they're not going to ever win again. It's crazy that people are so manipulated. And the correct answer is hiding in plain sight. So in Canada, we got to hope we can get rid of this government, take our cues and work from what Trump's doing to make North America great again. Trump's moving full steam ahead to reach the goal. It'd be really nice if we had a prime minister that could get along with them and try to move towards that same goal. If you don't want to lose your sovereignty or anything else, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with what Trump is doing and how he's doing it. He's protecting his people, which is what we need in Canada. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. I mean, he'd be better off getting aboard than trying to stop the train. And, a train's a hard thing to stop. They go through most things. Better to climb aboard and take the ride with them. Okay, a couple more things here. Oh man, it's 5-1 already. Jeez, time flies. Now, all these pardons that Biden gave. Remember, he gave over 8,000 pardons when he left office. Before he left office, actually, and he gave some 10-year retroactive pardons to Hunter and his family and other criminals that could be prosecuted. He gave them all pardons. Well, you know what? Those pardons could be null and void, all of them. And you know why? Because they were signed by AutoPen. Apparently, Biden didn't sign them all himself. In fact, 7 pardons signed in January, in Washington D.C. before Trump's inauguration day were signed when Biden was in Charleston, South Carolina. He wasn't even in Washington to sign them that day. So if he couldn't have signed them, they signed them with AutoPen. And if they signed them with AutoPen, he might not even have known they signed them, which is pretty bizarre. So it takes us back to the one question: who's actually running the country for the 4 years? Remember, Biden was already found incompetent to stand trial for the classified documents. But after the Hur investigation, he was the special counsel investigating the classified document charges. He looked into the charges. They found that Biden was a feeble old man with a bad memory and would never be convicted, even though he was guilty. He'd never be convicted, so they didn't send him to trial. They didn't send him to trial. No use. Nobody's going to find him guilty because he's an incompetent old man with a bad memory. Now, Trump is looking into all this. He's going to have them all thrown out. He said, no, they're not valid. They're getting thrown out. The only ones he can't get thrown out are the ones that Joe actually sat down and signed. And you see when Trump's signing the executive orders, he's sitting there with a pen, signing them, holding them up to show you he signed them, and then handing them over to the right person. That's the way you do it. So they're going to be looking into all of them. And the Biden cartel members, like Shifty Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and Hunter Biden, they're all going to lose those pardons if he signed them with AutoPen. They're going to be deemed not legal, not in effect. And speaking of Hunter Biden, he's basking in Africa right now on some beach with 18 Secret Service agents in tow protecting him. Can you imagine that? How can this be? They wouldn't even give Trump a decent bunch of agents. They gave him the cast-offs, the DEI hires, and he got shot. And another guy was sitting in the bushes waiting to shoot him if he would have turned the corner. And they send 18 to Africa to protect Hunter, and another 13 on his daughter, Ashley. So that's all going to end. Trump got a wind of this, and he says, no, they're coming home. Get these guys out of Africa. He's on his own. Ashley's on her own. We're not wasting 31 agents on that. He's pulling them all off, and that's that. How crazy is this? It never ends. It never ends. You can't keep track of all the stuff that's going on. But it's done. It's over for these guys. Now we sit and wait and see what Carney's going to do. He's taken off to Europe. He wants to make deals with the European Union, I guess. Tariffs are going to kick in April 2nd. He's over with Europe. I don't know what he's doing. These guys, he's probably over there with his buddies when he was the governor of the Bank of England, shaking hands and laughing at the dopey Canadians who just let him get appointed as prime minister and never had an election or anything. How can this happen? How can this happen? I don't get it. This country's going down. You think it's bad? It's going to even get worse. It's going to get worse. That's why we got to have an election right away and get rid of these clowns. But you know what? If the Jagmeet Singh, if he can convince him to support him, they can't get rid of him. Election will be next October. And then if they use some kind of emergency war measures act or the trade wars and everything they're in with the U.S., then they could extend it another year. Hey, they could pull these things. Don't be surprised. Nothing would surprise me. These people are underhanded. They've ruined this country, and they're going to ruin it even more if they can before they leave. Believe me. Okay, so tomorrow, absolutely. That's right. I'm going to talk about the Habs all show. All Habs all show. If you're a Habs fan, tune in. If you're not, tune in anyway. You can get mad at us and yell at us. And then Thursday, I'm going to review the meeting tonight. City Council, remember, it starts at 4 o'clock. Well, actually, if you want to see Vince Cario sworn in, tune in at 2. You're going to swear him in, then go in camera for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So, but he has to be sworn in before he can go into camera. So they're going to have the swearing in, then go into camera, then be back on the TV by about 5 or something like that, usually 5:30. So tune in. We'll see what they say about all the things on the agenda that we talked about yesterday. I'll be watching, and I'll give some comments on Thursday about the funnies that went down at the city council meeting. It's always something happening, always something. And it'll be the return of Only 8 after her crushing defeat running as an MPP. Oh, she didn't have a prayer. Didn't have a prayer. And then Friday's going to be their usual Finally Friday to wrap up the week. So tune in, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice on 4680Q and live on YouTube. Tune in for the radio people if you want to see the show live. Tune in at 3 o'clock. YouTube, Your City, Your Voice, Paul K. Lemire. Check it out. All my videos are there. If you missed one, go back and watch it. Subscribe. Hit the notification button so you know when I post one. You'll get a ding ding on your phone. Yeah, that's how it works. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamill Machine Company. They support the show. They support the city, support our sponsors. That's it for today. This beautiful day. I might go sit out in the sun and get some vitamin D today. That's how nice it is out there. Take care, everyone. God bless you all. Talk to you tomorrow on Absolutely if you tune in. If not, Thursday with Straight Talk Thursday, when we'll take a look at city council shenanigans. See you later. Have a great day, everybody.